coin is more than an object of metal. It is a vessel of memory. When we look at the 50 fils coin of Bahrain, we do not simply see currency. We see the story of an island nation, its struggles, its triumphs, its daily life. But perhaps most importantly, we see the way a small piece of metal becomes part of the fabric of identity. Ask an older Bahraini about the 50 fils coin, and you may not hear about minting years or alloy compositions. Instead, you may hear stories. Stories of walking through the souk in Manama as a child, clutching a few coins to buy sweets. Stories of taxi rides in the 1970s, when the fare was often a single 50 fils piece. Stories of pocket money given by grandparents, simple, tangible, and memorable. For many, the 50 fils coin is not just an economic unit. It is a trigger of memory, a reminder of a Bahrain that was smaller, simpler, but full of life. A symbol of continuity. In a nation that has seen rapid transformation, from pearl diving to oil, from villages to skyscrapers, from traditional trade to global finance, the 50 fils coin has been a constant. It has endured through the transition from British protectorate to independent kingdom, the reigns of successive monarchs, the oil booms and economic shifts of the 20th and 21st centuries. While much else has changed, the coin has remained, its symbols of pearls, palms, and dows serving as anchors of identity. Coins as cultural artifacts. Anthropologists often describe coins as everyday artifacts of culture, unlike monuments or palaces, which stand as grand reminders of power. Coins slip into the pockets of everyone. Rich or poor, young or old, the coin is shared. The Bahrain 50 fils coin is such an artifact. It carries the values of the nation, resilience, tradition, connection to the sea, and places them in the hands of millions. And in doing so, it reminds every citizen and visitor alike, this is Bahrain. National pride in small things. It is easy to see national pride in flags, anthems, and celebrations. But pride can also live in smaller things, in a coin, for example, that has survived the passage of decades. The 50 fils coin is often overlooked. Yet, in its endurance, it embodies a quiet strength. It tells a story of continuity amid change. It shows that even in a world of digital payments and global currencies, a small piece of metal can still mean something profound. From currency to heritage. As we move deeper into the 21st century, the role of coins is shrinking. But in this shrinking role, they gain another identity, not just as currency, but as heritage. One day, the 50 fils coin may no longer circulate widely, but it will live on in collections, in museums, in the memories of those who grew up with it. It will become a piece of Bahrain's heritage, preserved not for its economic use, but for its cultural meaning. In the story of Bahrain, the 50 fils coin is a humble character. It does not dominate headlines or command attention, but it is always there, in the background, linking past to present, people to people, memory to identity. And that is the legacy of the coin, not simply as money, but as the story of the Bahrain 50 fils coin is not just a national story. It is also part of a global story, the story of coins themselves, their rise, their endurance, and their struggles in the face of modern change. When we place the 50 fils coin alongside its counterparts in other countries, we begin to see both what is universal and what is uniquely Bahraini. The global decline of small denominations. Around the world, small coins have been under pressure. In the United States, the penny has been criticized for decades as being more expensive to mint than its value. In the United Kingdom, the half-penny was abolished in 1984, and even the one-penny coin is under review. In Canada, the penny was discontinued in 2012 due to cost and inefficiency. In the Eurozone, countries such as Finland and the Netherlands have largely eliminated the 1 and 2 cent coins from daily circulation. Inflation, rising minting costs, and the rise of digital payments have made many small coins obsolete. The Bahrain 50 fils coin is part of this trend. Its purchasing power has declined over time, making it less central to daily life. Yet unlike some nations that have retired their small denominations, Bahrain has kept its 50 fils coin alive. Comparisons with other Gulf states. The Gulf region provides an especially relevant comparison. In Kuwait, the fils system mirrors Bahrain's. Their 50 fils coin also occupies a central place in transactions, though inflation has weakened its importance. In the United Arab Emirates, the 50 fils coin features the iconic dhow, similar to Bahrain's maritime imagery, and remains a common coin in circulation. In Qatar and Oman, the 50 dirham and 50 paisa coins serve comparable roles, carrying national symbols such as swords, palm trees, and traditional vessels. Here, we see a regional pattern. The 50 unit coin often becomes the workhorse of daily life, the bridge between small change and larger denominations. Yet Bahrain's version stands apart in its minimalism and symbolism, where calligraphy and heritage motifs take center stage. Symbolism across borders. Looking globally, the imagery on the Bahrain 50 fils coin finds echoes elsewhere. The palm tree, a symbol of life in arid lands, also appears on Saudi Arabian coins, representing vitality and resilience. The dhow, central to Bahrain's identity, likewise adorns UAE coins, highlighting a shared maritime heritage across the Gulf. The pearl, once the lifeblood of Bahrain's economy, is rarer as a coin motif globally, making its use uniquely tied to Bahrain's cultural memory. This blending of universal and unique makes the 50 fils coin both relatable and distinct. It is part of the global language of coins, and yet unmistakably Bahraini. Coins as national storytellers. Every nation asks its coins to tell a story. In the United States, coins feature presidents, founding fathers, and mottos like "In God We Trust." In Europe, euro coins carry national designs, from Greek owls to Irish harps, while sharing a common reverse. In Asia, countries like Japan and China emphasize heritage, shrines, or traditional motifs. Bahrain's choice not to feature monarchs or portraits on its 50 fils coin, but rather pearls, palms, and calligraphy, is a deliberate cultural statement. It aligns with Islamic artistic traditions while grounding the coin firmly in Bahraini soil and sea. The 50 fils in the age of global collecting. In today's interconnected world, coins travel far beyond their borders through the hands of collectors. The Bahrain 50 fils coin, while modest in denomination, has gained a quiet presence in global numismatic circles. Collectors often admire it for its clean, minimal design, its cultural symbolism tied to Bahrain's heritage, its role as one of the strongest subdivisions of one of the world's strongest currencies, the dinar. Compared to coins of similar value worldwide, the 50 fils often stands out as a coin that embodies both elegance and endurance, a coin both local and global. The Bahrain 50 fils coin belongs first and foremost to Bahrain. It is a coin of the souk, the taxi, the family pocket. But it also belongs to the wider world, to the global story of coins, to the shared challenges of inflation and digitalization, and to the universal desire to place identity in metal. Seen in this context, the 50 fils coin is both ordinary and extraordinary, one small coin among many, yet one that speaks volumes about a nation, a region, and the universal journey of money itself. In the next chapter, we return home to Bahrain to ask a final question. What does the 50 fils coin mean today, not in markets or banks, but in the hearts and minds of the people who still carry it, remember it, and treasure its story? For economists, the 50 fils coin is a unit of currency. For historians, it is a reflection of a nation's journey. But for the people of Bahrain, it is something much more personal. It is a memory, a sound, a habit. It is a coin that has passed through countless hands, mothers, fathers, children, merchants, workers, travelers. It is, in every sense, the people's coin. For many Bahrainis, the first encounter with money was through the 50 fils coin. Ask an older generation, and they will tell you of pocket money, the thrill of being handed a 50 fils piece by a parent or grandparent. With it came possibilities, a bag of sweets, a small toy, or perhaps a trip to the corner shop. For children of the 1970s and 1980s, the coin was often the equivalent of independence in miniature, a first taste of financial responsibility, a way of making choices in the bustling souks of Manama or Muharraq. Even today, the memory lingers. For some, the 50 fils is not just metal. It is nostalgia, a symbol of simpler times. In the traditional markets, the souks, the 50 fils coin once reigned supreme. Vendors of spices, dates, and textiles grew accustomed to hearing its clink as they handed back change. Taxi drivers knew it as the fare of short rides across town. Fishermen at the docks saw it exchanged for their fresh catch. The 50 fils was not exotic or rare. It was ordinary, and that was its power. It was the coin that everyone had, the coin that everyone used. In its ordinariness, it became universal, a quiet thread weaving through the fabric of everyday life. Coins are not just seen. They are heard. The sound of 50 fils clinking in a pocket, or dropping into a shopkeeper's till, is etched into memory. For some, that sound is tied to the rhythm of daily life, buses arriving, markets opening, shopkeepers calling out. It is the sound of exchange, of movement, of a society in motion. And though digital payments may be silent, the memory of coins remains noisy, alive with the echoes of a Bahrain where money was tangible, touchable, audible. Beyond buying and selling, the 50 fils coin also carries memories of giving. Parents handing them to children, neighbors lending or sharing small change, vendors slipping 1 or 2 extra into the hands of a familiar customer as a gesture of goodwill. These small acts gave the coin a role not only in the economy, but in community life. It was more than a unit of value. It was a unit of kindness. Bahrain has long been home to a large expatriate community, workers, professionals, and families from across Asia, Africa, and beyond. For many of them, the 50 fils coin was their daily companion. For some, it was a reminder of home, equivalent to coins they had used in India, Pakistan, or the Philippines. For others, it was simply practical, the price of a bus ticket, a phone call, or a simple meal. In this way, the coin became a bridge not just between Bahrainis, but between cultures. It was the common denominator of daily life, uniting people from every background. Today, as its role in everyday transactions fades, the 50 fils coin survives in another way, in memory. Older generations tell stories of what it once bought. Younger generations may laugh at how little it buys now. But in both cases, it sparks conversation, connection, and reflection. Even if its purchasing power has diminished, its cultural power remains intact. The 50 fils coin may one day vanish from daily circulation, but in the hearts of the people, it will endure, not as money, but as memory. It will remain the coin of childhood, the coin of markets, the coin of voices and stories. It will remain the people's coin. And in that way, the 50 fils coin will always belong to Bahrain, not only to its treasury, but to its people, its past, and its soul. As we come to the end of our journey, we return to a simple truth. A coin is never just a coin. It is a reflection of a people, a marker of time, a silent witness to history. The Bahrain 50 fils coin, small, round, modest, has carried on its surface the weight of a nation's story. From birth to legacy, born in the early years of independence, the coin symbolized a nation finding its own footing. It carried the images of pearls, palms, and dows, each a piece of Bahrain's soul. It passed through the hands of merchants in the souks, children in the playgrounds, and workers in the streets. It endured through oil booms and economic shifts, through modernization and globalization. And though its purchasing power has faded, its symbolic power has only grown. The coin as a mirror of Bahrain. The 50 fils coin mirrors Bahrain itself, a resilient, like the palm tree, a rooted in heritage, like the pearl, a open to the world, like the dhow sailing across seas. It is a coin that tells Bahrain's story not in words, but in metal, durable, unyielding, and enduring. A global story, a local heart, placed in a global context. The 50 fils coin stands alongside countless small denominations from around the world. Like them, it faces the challenges of inflation, digital payments, and economic change. But unlike many, it remains deeply tied to the identity of a nation. It is not simply a convenience of exchange. It is a statement of who Bahrain is and who it has been. The people's coin. Above all, it is remembered as the people's coin, the coin of childhood memories, the coin of the souk, the coin that rang in taxi rides and echoed in shop tills, the coin that united Bahrainis and expatriates alike in the everyday act of exchange. It may not command great monetary value, but in terms of memory, culture, and heritage, it is priceless, an enduring legacy. One day, perhaps, the 50 fils coin will leave circulation. It may find its place only in collectors' albums, in museum displays, or in the dusty drawers of forgotten change. But its legacy will live on. It will live in the memories of those who grew up with it. It will live in the stories told from one generation to the next. It will live in the symbols it carried. Symbols of a Bahrain that treasures both its past and its future. The 50 fils coin is not just a fragment of metal. It is a fragment of identity. A reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest meanings. And so, as we close this story, we leave with a final image, a small coin, resting in the palm of a hand. Ordinary, yet extraordinary. A simple 50 fils, and yet the story of Bahrain itself.